Respectfully, some of you need to calm down. Actually, scratch that. All of us do. Because every person has convinced themselves of something that wasn't true. We've all imagined conversations that never happened, assumed meanings that once they are convinced ourselves next Monday will magically fix everything. And honestly, that's exactly why we need to have this conversation today. Because we are all a little delusional, but some of you need to relax. Hey lovelies, I'm Davny and welcome to Davny Talks. We're all delusional, every single one of us. Yeah, nobody is walking around seeing reality exactly as it is. We all have assumptions, we all have fantasies, we all tell ourselves stories. And honestly, that's not even the issue. The issue is some of you have taken delusion and turned it into a full-time career. Now, before anyone gets defensive, I'm not talking about having dreams. I'm not talking about manifestation. I'm definitely not saying confidence is a bad thing. Actually, a little bit of delusion is probably necessary. Think about it. Every successful person was delusional at some point. Imagine telling people years ago, I'm going to become a millionaire. I'm going to build my own company. I'm going to become an artist. People would have looked at you and thought, okay. Because your reality didn't match your vision. But if you never believed it first, you'd never even try. So yes, healthy delusional, beautiful, necessary, iconic. It's the reason people apply for opportunities they're technically underqualified for. It's when someone starts a business with literally 3 customers. It's why creators upload videos that nobody watches until suddenly everybody's watching. Without a little irrational confidence, most amazing things will never happen. So no, I'm not against delusion, I'm against the type that's completely unrealistic. Because somewhere along the way, some people stopped using delusion as motivation and started using it as an escape. There's a difference. One says, I'm not there yet, but I'm working towards it. The other says, I'm basically there. Meanwhile, nothing has changed. The vision board has seen more action than your action goals. Have you ever convinced yourself that one productive Monday somehow means you'll transform into a completely different person? There are harmless little delusions we all have, and there are dangerous ones that quietly hold us back. You need to know how to differentiate between believing in yourself and believing complete nonsense. So if you've ever been personally victimized by your own imagination, congratulations, you're exactly where you need to be. Why do our brains love being delusional? Okay, so now that we've all admitted you're a little delusional, let's talk about why. Because I genuinely don't think people wake up in the morning and say, you know what? Today I'm going to completely ignore reality. It just happens. Something I've noticed is that we all think we are the main character. Every single one of us experiences life from our own perspective. So naturally, we think people notice us way more than they actually do. You trip while walking, you think everybody saw. You say something awkward and you replay it for over 3 weeks. Meanwhile, most people didn't even notice. They're too busy thinking about the embarrassing thing that they did. It's actually comforting when you think about it. Everyone is starring in their own movie, which means nobody's spending nearly as much time analyzing your life as you think we are. And honestly, that's so freeing. Wear the outfit, post the vid, start the YouTube channel, apply for the opportunity, because while you're busy worrying about what strangers think, those strangers are busy worrying about what other strangers think about them. We are literally all just out here overthinking together. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest delusions people fall into. This has taken people out. It has people writing wedding vows after one good conversation. Sometimes we're so attached to the version we've created in our heads that we completely ignore the version standing right in front of us. There's this delusion people have of thinking that wanting something is the same as working for it, because wanting to wake up at 5 a.m. is not the same thing as actually waking up at 5 a.m. Wanting to start a business isn't the same thing as registering one. Wanting to become healthier isn't the same as putting your phone down and going for that walk. We celebrate ideas so much that sometimes we forget ideas are just ideas. Execution, that's where life changes. And can I just say something? Social media has made this so much worse, because now we don't just compare our reality, we compare it to everyone's highlight reel. Someone posts, just bought my dream car. Someone else posts, I quit my job. Another person is literally traveling the world. Someone's engaged, someone's launching a business, someone's glowing up, and suddenly your brain starts saying, I should be there too. When in reality, you have absolutely no idea what happened behind those posts. You don't know the depth, you don't know the setbacks, the sacrifices, the sleepless nights. You're comparing your behind the scenes to somebody else's movie trailer. That's never a fair comparison. I genuinely believe one of the healthiest things you can do is stop assuming everyone else's life is perfect, because trust me, nobody has it all figured out. Some people are just better at choosing what they post. And that's okay, but don't let somebody else's curated life convince you that your real life isn't good enough, because that's another delusion. And unlike the funny ones, that can quietly steal your confidence if you let it. Being a little delusional isn't the enemy. In fact, sometimes it's a superpower. But here's the question. How do you know when your delusion is helping you and when it's just holding you hostage? Because there's a difference, a huge one at that. Healthy delusion says, I believe I can become that person. Dangerous delusion says, I already am that person, even though I've done absolutely nothing. See the difference? One inspires action, the other replaces it. And that's how people get stuck. Confidence without action is just entertainment. You can't keep saying, I'm going to be successful, while refusing to build the habits that successful people have. You can't keep saying, I'm that guy, if every promise you make to yourself gets cancelled by noon. Sometimes we fall in love with the aesthetic of success instead of success itself. We love the vision boards, the Pinterest boards, the expensive looking desk setup, the motivational quotes, the morning routines, the new era, the this is my year. And don't get me wrong, I love a good reset. I love a fresh notebook. I love romanticizing my life. I love creating beautiful spaces that motivate me. But eventually, you have to stop planning and start doing, because dreams don't care how aesthetic your planner is. Dreams respond to consistency, and consistency is honestly one of the least glamorous thing ever. Nobody posts themselves answering boring emails. Nobody posts themselves fixing mistakes. Nobody posts the 10th failed attempt. Nobody posts crying because something didn't work out. We mostly see the victory, rarely the repetition. And that's why consistency feels so lonely sometimes. Because nobody claps for chapter 2. People only show up when you're on chapter 20. So if you're currently in your chapter 2, do not quit yet, because it doesn't look exciting yet. Every successful person you've ever admired spent a long time looking invisible. Think about your favorite creators, your favorite business owners. At one point, they were talking to 10 people, maybe even fewer. Posting anyway, showing up anyway, improving anyway. Can you imagine if they had stopped because they thought nobody's watching? Sometimes the person who changes their life isn't the most talented one in the room. They're just the ones who refused to leave. And honestly, that inspires me so much because talent is amazing, but discipline changes everything. There's this delusion that quietly ruins people, thinking you're entitled to results you've never worked for. Social media has convinced us that everything should happen overnight. You post one video, why isn't it viral? You go to the gym twice, where are my abs? We've become so used to instant everything, instant food, instant replies, instant shopping, instant entertainment, that we accidentally expect instant success too. But it just doesn't work like that. You don't talk today and wake up successful tomorrow. Real growth is painfully ordinary. It's choosing yourself over and over again, even when it's boring, even when nobody notices, even when you don't feel motivated. And here's something I had to learn. Sometimes the line here, praying for, requires a version of you that doesn't exist yet. The opportunities you want, the confidence you want, the income you want, the friendships you want, the peace you want, they all require growth. So instead of asking, when will my life change, maybe ask, who do I need to become? Because that's the question that actually changes everything. Dream with your eyes open. Believe in yourself without lying to yourself. Be optimistic without ignoring reality. Manifest, but also make the phone call. Pray, but also prepare. Visualize, but also put in the work. Because the most powerful combination is confidence plus consistency. And if there's one thing I hope you take away from today's conversation, it's this. The life you're imagining, go build it. One habit, one decision, one uncomfortable step at a time. And if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with that one friend who is just a tiny bit committed to their imagination. I'll see you in the next episode of Davny Talks.